Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. It's Friday the 13th. It's a lucky day. We've got Gilles Caraschino with us here today, and hopefully it's going to be lucky for him as well. Joining us. It's actually the last online webinar of PPM Summer Talk for this week. We've still got 2 weeks to go. So welcome, everyone, again. And I would like to, on behalf of Y Summit, I would like to thank Gilles and all the other speakers for accepting my invitation to join me for this new concept of online webinars happening. It's a very, very new, we're trying it out. So far, it's been quite a hit, and people seem to be loving it, and they're returning, and you're returning as well. So thank you and welcome. It's good morning to some of you, good afternoon in Europe, good evening. Actually, we got Gilles from Japan, so hello. Hello, Gilles.
Hello, Katie and everyone. So first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to present today. I hope it will be an exciting presentation. I'm looking forward to your questions at the end in discussion. It's also thank you for Katie for sharing with me this concept. I think the webinars, which is a very exciting idea to leverage the opportunity of remote communication that we are all, or many of us, at least in Japan, we have still state of emergency is quite limited somehow the amount of movement or conferences that we can attend. So I'm looking forward for the session today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate, people who needed to stay up late, like you, for example, now in Japan, and people who need to wake up to make it to the session. And, it makes a big difference, because this is why we're putting it together. PPM Summer Talks kind of, came up as an idea happened to become an idea due to restrictions. And now everyone seems to be having online conferences, and ours as well, physical ones, normally happen for 2 days, 2 long consecutive days. And now having short online webinar just for an hour a day, 4 days a week, seems to be doing exactly what we wanted to be, bring professionals like usual, like other speakers that we've got, and PPM colleagues and peers together. And we're doing it all through the PPM workout platform, which is a tool for everyone to use to get connected with other professionals and experts from the pharma field or outside of pharma field as well, publish articles, anything. So the platform is there. It's a tool for you, for everyone. I'm just the guide on the journey, and I'm just putting the people together and the conferences that you might enjoy. So hello everyone, and thank you again. I'm really grateful that you decided to spend a little bit of your Friday with us. Before I give word to Gilles, I would like to just introduce him shortly. He will have introduction about himself in the presentation, but I will just shortly summarize who he is. Highly motivated, result-driven general manager with a successful track record at creating and managing high-performing teams across different geographies and organizations, especially for the past 10 years. I spoke briefly with Gilles, and he said, when I was in Switzerland, when I was in Hungary, when I'm in Japan, and he seems to be all over the world. So any questions you've got going on and happening in your head, please do ask him. He seems like genuinely kind, lovely, professional from the field. So let's make the most out of his time here with us. He's working for Santen, and he's been working there for, if I'm not mistaken, for almost 7 years now, right? As a global head of cell therapy.
Yeah, that's 7 years, yes, in this role since January, but yes, almost 7 years with Santen.
I'm not sure if it's all magical today, because the Friday the 13th, 7 years. I'm not sure what's happening today, but I'm gonna make the most out of it. So yeah, if you'd like to say a few words about you, or shall we leave it for the presentation?
Yeah, maybe I'll jump straight into the presentation, since there is a slide there, so we don't do it 2 times. Maybe I start sharing the screen.
Yeah, right? Perfect. Of course. So I'm gonna give you the word. Gilles Caraschino, everyone. Thank you again so much. And he's gonna be presenting a keynote on entering new business areas, the perspective of specialized pharmaceutical company. So welcome, and thank you again. Please keep the questions coming. We will answer all of them towards the end of the session, like we normally do. So yeah, enjoy everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie, for the kind words about me at the beginning. So so I'm very happy, as I said, to be here today to present about our entrance in the new business areas for Santen and the perspective of a specialized pharmaceutical company in the context of the PPM Summer Talk. So I'll also, so my presentation, before I go into that, my quick introduction, besides what Katie kindly said, So I'm originally from Portugal. I'm a physician by training, and I've done an MBA later on. My career is around 10 years in the industry. I started with Novartis, mostly in the Asia-Pacific, Middle East, and African countries with different roles, including the one in ophthalmology, leading the medical franchise for ophthalmology. And that's kind of the bridge into me joining Santen in 2015, where I was heading and building up the medical affairs organization for the newly established EMEA region. These were very exciting around 4 years there before 2019, when I moved to Japan to take a role in the corporate development division and advisory function, primarily working on different projects around globalization, later on also contributing to developing the Santen 2030 vision, which I'll talk extensively about it today on the presentation. And then around 1 year ago, I was asked to take over as a project lead for the integration of our new cell therapy asset, which then derived into the establishment of the cell therapy organization, which I'm heading. So this is a quick, brief introduction. Now moving into the presentation, it will be around 30 minutes. So I'll cover 3 key topics. One of them is about our company Santen's journey towards globalization and realizing our Santen 2030 vision. From that, I'll bridge into how we are approaching entering into the new business areas with a specific focus on advanced therapies and cell therapy, which is the business I'm leading with the team. And then we'll be talking a bit more about our specific approach when it comes to operating model and program management. So I introduced myself. Now I think it's also good to give you a bit of an overview of Santen so that it gives more context to the presentation today. So Santen is a company who's aiming to contribute to the high health of people around the world by leveraging our expertise in ophthalmology with a history of around 130 years. So as I mentioned, our company specializes in ophthalmology. We have impacted positively and treated around 30 million patients. Globally, we have presence in around 60 markets. We are number 4 in ophthalmology on a global basis, number 1 in Japan, and number 2 in China. We are a mid-sized company with a revenue around 234 billion yen, which in dollars around a bit over $2 billion. And we have around 4,200 employees globally. Our headquarters is in Japan, and we have also regional headquarters across the different regions. Why we chose ophthalmology? So globally, there is a large number of people suffering from visual impairments. And actually, this number, unfortunately, is growing every day. So today, around 2.2 billion people suffer from visual impairments. This is due to a multitude of factors, including the global population growth, the aging of the population, the lifestyle changes, as well as environmental issues. That's why we are committed to ophthalmology, and that's the focus of our company. With that, we have established, as I mentioned, the 2030, Santen 2030. So this is our vision. And as a company, we want to become a social innovator. We want to orchestrate and mobilize key technologies and players around the world to deliver happiness through vision. Our goal is to reduce the loss of social and economic opportunities for people around the world due to eye conditions. In order to reach the vision and that goal, we have a strategy with 3 key pillars. One of them is this focus on ophthalmology. And in ophthalmology, we want to innovate as well as contribute to accelerating the ecosystem, specifically, especially in the emerging markets where there is a bigger need in that aspect as well. The other focus for us is the wellness. So we want to raise awareness and proactive care towards better eye condition. And the third focus of our strategy is on inclusion. So we want to build a society that is inclusive regardless of visual impairment. So Santen is in a very exciting phase and it's been transforming itself. Primarily since 2010, when we set up Vision 2020, we wanted to expand ourselves globally. So Santen has 130 years history, yet until 2010, the majority of our focus has been in Japan, with small patchy presence on other markets. So after 2010, there was a big focus on globalizing the company. And I'll talk about it in the next slide so you can see the progress we have made. Now we are in 2021, so we have started this Santen 2030 journey, and we are in the beginning of our next 5-year midterm plan. So our main focus for this midterm plan is to enhance the globalization of our company, and entering new fields. How are we going to do that? We're going to focus on the core business to maximize that business and continue strengthening our global operation and presence. At the same time, we're going to start expanding into new fields. And that's a lot of the presentation today when I'll be talking about our entry in cell therapies and advanced therapies. We are also focusing on out-of-pocket or consumer market as the future area to develop for our company. And the third other new area is the digital health. So today, because of the time limit of the presentation, I'll only focus on the advanced therapies, yet we are also making good progress across the other new domains for our company. And why? Because by 2030, we aim at become a leader in ophthalmology. So that means that not only the core business will continue growing and our global presence established fully, but we also have the new business domains contributing to the growth of the company. So obviously, this is a very ambitious goal. For that, I want to share also with you the progress we made in the past 10 years. So to give you also an idea how we have approached portfolio, pipeline, and globalization in the past decade, which also informs some of the strategies that we are taking in this new Santen 2030 vision. So as I mentioned, until 2010, Santen was primarily focusing in the Japanese market. But in 2011, we started our expansion. So we acquired a company called Novagali. This was a biotech company in France. So the purpose of this acquisition was to give us, enhance our pipeline in our core business. So our core business from a disease perspective has been focusing primarily in glaucoma and dry eye drop products. So when we acquired Novagali, we added a few assets on that type of dry eye and glaucoma pipeline. And even this year, we are very lucky we had a product approved from this acquisition, product approved by the FDA for a severe vernal keratoconjunctivitis, which is an orphan disease affecting children. In 2014, we took over the ophthalmic assets from MSD. This, I think, was a very transformational deal for our company. It was also at the time I joined the company in the Europe EMEA region. So with the acquisition of this portfolio from MSD, we had a chance to very fast expand our presence globally, especially in Europe and Asia, because the MSD portfolio was a glaucoma portfolio of very well-established products, which allow us to increase our revenue and have a business platform across all these new geographies. In 2015, we finalized divesting the rheumatoid arthritis business, so we fully focused ourselves in ophthalmology, which was one of our core goals for 2020. Further to that, in 2016, we have acquired InFocus. Here also, again, the objective was to expand our pipeline by acquiring a medical device asset for glaucoma. And later, at the end of this last decade, we acquired Pharmaceutical. This is a US commercial company. So that gave us the full presence as well commercially in the United States. So I'm very happy because I think in terms of expansion was a very successful last 10 years. So to summarize, we have achieved rapidly expanded our presence in each region. We established also new organizational capabilities while entering and expanding sales in new countries. We evolved into a global organization. We drove growth by investing both in R&D and pipeline, as well as in business development. And we provide new pharmaceutical solutions to address patient and medical needs in ophthalmology. So this gives us kind of the background and the strengths that allow us now to be very confident in further expanding our business and our presence. So we'll rely on organizational excellence with a track record that Santen has on commercialization, monetization, and multi-region operations in ophthalmic area. We'll also leverage the differentiation in product development through patient needs-driven innovation and lifecycle management. And we'll also capitalize on that customer equity that we have. We have a symbiotic business model specialized in ophthalmology that aims to continuously improve the value of the patient experience together with ophthalmologists. We have, as I mentioned, unparalleled customer equity in Japan, China, and Asia due to our long-term presence in those markets. And we have a very strong network being fully dedicated and committed to ophthalmology. That means partnerships with other companies, startups, universities, as well as research institutions. So with those capabilities, we are now looking into expanding into new domains. So that takes me into the second part of the presentation, where I'm going to focus on sharing with you our strategy to enter advanced therapies, in particular cell therapy. So in the first part of the presentation, I focused primarily on how we came to the stage where we are and how we enhanced our core business on a global basis. So now in the next minutes, I'll be talking about our expansion in advanced therapies in cell and gene therapy. So this is one of the core goals of this next midterm plan, which is 5 years for our company. So I thought it would be interesting for those of you who are not in ophthalmology to give you a bit of a perspective of the business size in ophthalmology. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, Santen revenue is around $2 billion. This is in ophthalmology where the market is around $39 billion currently. And is also a very healthy market with an expected growth rate around 6.4% for the next almost decade. The market is dominated by the retinal disorder segment, which accounts to around 1/3 of the market around 2020. This is because there were a lot of very meaningful innovations that, in terms of therapeutics, that came to the market in retina in the past decade. Then, coupled with that, the advanced therapy market, I thought would be also interesting to give you a short perspective around that. So the market is still in early stages, but is already worth around $4.4 billion globally. And this one is expected to grow really at the compound annual growth rate of 28% for the next 5 years, and then will continue on the double digit for the rest of the decade. So it's a very exciting new market. That's why many companies are trying to enter this market. Also, these technology advancements allow to treat diseases that until now maybe had no options available. So Santen, I talked about what we have done in the past decade to expand our business globally. Again, here when we came to the decision on how to enter the advanced therapy market, we had to look at, again, the same kind of considerations, going internal or external innovation. And typically there are 3 approaches. These, I think many of you are very familiar with those. So we could look at homegrown innovation. So here, maybe this time it would take more time to deliver on that. There would be a full commitment and investment from Santen side, no sharing of risk. The second option, very common, especially by large companies to enter new businesses, buying a ready to commercialize asset or a company. Here, of course, it's a fast approach. You can immediately acquire the asset. Is a one-off type of investment in most cases, so requires a much larger financial commitment at the upfront stage. And then there is a third option, which are the partnerships. Obviously, around the majority of the companies look at partnerships for different reasons. And that actually accounted to more than 80% of the total transaction activity. I think 3 key areas companies look at when making those decisions is looking at risk, investment, and time to deliver on the entry on these new markets. So for Santen, we have decided to enter the advanced therapy market through a partnership. I'll talk about it more in the next slides. So, as I mentioned, the advanced therapy market is very exciting in terms of acquisitions, new players entering. I thought of giving you a bit of an overview of the key developments in the last years with a special focus on ophthalmology. So I categorized, or we separated them into acquisitions, licensing deals, as well as more elaborated type of partnerships. So starting on the left side, I think one of the key acquisitions in this space was the Roche acquisition of Spark Therapeutics in 2019. This was a $4.3 billion deal. This obviously, as I mentioned, large pharmaceutical companies in many cases look at this kind of a deal where they acquire a full company. In this case, it not gave Roche an asset in ophthalmology, but also a pipeline of gene therapy assets. Similar type of deals were done by other companies, for example, in oncology with the CAR-T acquisitions, for example, from Gilead of Kite Pharma. So majority of those deals were in the order of $5 to $10 billion. There's also a very large acquisition done by Novartis a few years ago, acquiring Avexis. the gene therapy company, also in the order, I think, around $8 billion. So large companies, in many of the cases, they look at these kind of acquisitions. There was in ophthalmology, one of the largest acquisitions was actually done by Biogen in 2019 as well, close to $1 billion. Here was to acquire Nightstar Therapeutics with a pipeline of gene therapies for orphan diseases in ophthalmology. So far, that deal has not brought yet any asset to the market. And then there was a more recent deal, which is a bit different type of approach. This was by Novartis with Verdere Bio, a smaller size of deal, $280 million. Here, the assets are in preclinical. So it's again another type of strategy where the company acquired a platform of assets in preclinical and then will try to bring them to the market. Novartis also was a company who has set up, in this case, a licensing partnership with Spark before Roche acquired them. This was to license this product called Luxturna, a gene therapy in ophthalmology. This was an ex-US type of market. Then we had Janssen with a global in-licensing deal in 2019, and Santen with an in-licensing deal, primarily ex-US deal. I'll talk more about that in the next slides. And very recent deal was the one which is an alliance between R&D and CMO type of alliance that was done by Bayer. It's one of the Bayer subsidiaries in cell therapy, partnering with Fujifilm Cellular Dynamics and Opsys Therapeutics. This is a smaller size of the deal because it's also an early type of asset. So different companies have looked at different ways to enter into this field. I think the key message is a very dynamic field and very exciting, where there are a lot of potential opportunities for companies and a lot of diseases where there is a lot of unmet need in ophthalmology. So looking at the approach that Santen has taken, we have chosen to partner with a company called JSight. It's an American startup company. The deal was signed in May 2020. This is an agreement where both companies agree to develop, register, and commercialize human retinal progenitor cell therapies for the treatment of lead indication, which is a rare disease called retinitis pigmentosa. Santen has the exclusive rights for this therapy in Europe, Asia, which includes also Japan and China, and the deal size was around $252 million, including milestones. So what does this therapy means for Santen in terms of opportunity, and why we are very excited about it? So this therapy has concluded the phase 2b, so it's a mid-stage type of asset. It's addressing or targeting a big unmet medical need in a disease called retinitis pigmentosa, which is an orphan disease. Affects around 1.9 million people globally. Currently, the only available therapy, it's a gene therapy and only addresses one genotype. So it's around 1% of the patients are potentially addressed by that therapy. So the large majority of patients have no available therapy. And this is a very devastating disease where majority of patients become legally blind by the age of 40 years. Having that in mind, this asset really can address, our cell therapy asset can have the potential to address the large number of patients because it's not gene specific. And we target launch around 2026. From a commercial perspective, it will be a big contributor for Santen on the long term in terms of top and bottom line. And we estimate around peak sales revenue potentially in our territories around $682 million. So just to summarize this part of my presentation, this expansion into advanced therapies through the human retinal progenitor cell therapy, it's a logical next step for Santen for three key reasons. It's a great growth opportunity. It's also the opportunity for Santen to enter and be present in the forefront of innovation in ophthalmology. It has the potential to address a very large medical need, as I mentioned, in retinitis pigmentosa and other orphan or rare ophthalmological diseases. And the third part, it has a very big strategic fit to our goals of reaching Santen 2030 vision. So now that I have talked briefly about Santen and our 2030 goals, I've also talked a bit about our strategy entering the cell therapy business. Now I'm going to talk about more in operational aspects, how we are addressing operationally in terms of model and approach the cell therapy and advanced therapy entry for our company. So a little bit again of background before I go into the details of the approach we have chosen. So this is an illustrative example of some of the key challenges that companies are facing when entering the advanced therapy space. There's cost concentration issues, especially in Europe and all the mature markets, which are HTA and market access type of sensitive markets. There's also manufacturing challenges still, because there is a shortage of manufacturing capacity and talent in this field. It's also a fragmented market, which sometimes can lead to disruptions across border supply chains. There is a very complex market access when it comes to advanced therapies, because the reimbursements are complex, lengthy, or costly. And also some of the restrictions around data and privacy in Europe, which limits sometimes the generation of real-world evidence, which in this type of therapeutic field is quite critical for companies to gather or get the reimbursement or end access that they aim. And then there's also sometimes research issues. This is more European focused, some struggles sometimes to translate research strength into commercial or market leadership, and sometimes challenge around funding. When you look at the US, some of these are similar challenges. Others are less relevant to the US market. Definitely the manufacturing is one that would span across all the different regions. So having that in mind, we started thinking about how to establish and operate our new business in advanced therapies. So I think a key aspect to succeed in this space is agility. So for Santen, we licensed this asset in 2020 in May, and immediately after we set up an interim project team. And then from January this year, as I mentioned, we established a cell therapy organization fully dedicated to bringing these assets to the patients. The launch is expected in 2026. I wanted to mention this again because I think for any company entering this field, I think having enough lead time to build up the organization, the competencies, and then drive the program from early stage on, so that the company has higher probability of success commercially. I think we have seen several companies in this space of advanced therapies facing many challenges because sometimes they don't have enough time to build up those capabilities and expertise to drive those programs successfully. So just quickly now going into more detailed view, three aspects I think are critical. This is not only for advanced therapies, but when entering any new business, I think the strategy and organizational design that fits the strategy, so that then a strong backbone of program management allows for the operations to run smoothly and the milestones to be hit over time. So for Santen cell therapy or advanced therapy, we have a 2-3 year strategy aiming at focus on 3 key pillars. The first one obviously is integrating and accelerating the development of our human retinal progenitor cells on the lead indication, retinitis pigmentosa, and also looking at other potential future indications for this, so that we are not only talking about one asset with one indication, but more of a cell therapy platform. In parallel to that, we are already starting to look at what are the other options in terms of expansion of portfolio and pipeline in the future, so that we can build a long-term sustainable business platform. And the third pillar to that, and as critical or even more critical than the others, is developing the organizational capability and the global footprint that allow us to become a leader in advanced therapies for ophthalmology. So for that, we have been heavily focused on attracting and building up the team with the right talents, with those expertise and skill sets in advanced therapies, so that we can ramp up this organization quite fast. So I think a big consideration every company has to internally, when deciding how to approach the entry into new businesses in advanced therapies as other business as well, is how to structure the group. I think there are three types of approach. One is to build almost a standalone division or a new standalone group. The other one is integration of the asset into the core business, or even a full spin-off. For Santen, we chose to build a dedicated organization, a lean, fully focused global organization with a simple reporting and governance model, with a full suite of functions covering all value chain activities, manufacturing, development, commercialization, so that we have a full integrated team. And the core team, we looked at bringing a lot of external talents to accelerate this skill build-up. This is because our core business is not in advanced therapy. So for us, this is a new modality in the new domain. So that was quite critical for our setup phase. So as I mentioned, we have established from an organizational perspective a core team, highly integrated type of operating team and complementary functions. Looking again now more into how we operationalize our activities, the key success factors for us to drive the cell therapy program management operating model. So as I mentioned, and I keep emphasizing that, capability development, so building up the Santen internal capabilities to succeed with our asset and allow for us to repeat the same type of process and approach with new assets in the future is very critical, so that we build something that can be replicable in the future. Knowledge transfer, this actually works both ways. Because of Santen being a fully focused ophthalmology company, we have a very strong network and expertise in the field, and that is something that is very valuable for us with the new team members and as we are entering this new business. On the other hand, is also very valuable for the core business to gather and learn about our activities in cell therapy and advanced therapies. And the third key pillar for program management success is the external collaboration approach. So how we partner with our in this case, our partnering company, and as well how we partner internally and collaborate internally as well. So in order for that, our approach to set up the cell therapy for success with partners, companies, and also internal teams, we have the following approach. So we have an aligned governance model within and across organizations. We have agreed cross-functional team goals. We have a prepared organization for scale-up and agility. And we also have implemented already tools that will allow for effectively sharing and integrating information across teams. So I think those are some of the key pillars for successful operational rollout of the organization. Work stream model, focusing on primarily cross-functional type of work, sharing responsibilities and accountabilities so that we allow a very integrated type of working model with a clear races so that things are very fluid on the day-to-day operations. And also we focus on incentivizing group level goals rather than individual or functional type of goals so that we emphasize the value of teamwork and collaboration. One last topic about that is obviously about information sharing and communication. I'm based in Japan. Most of the team is based in Europe. So I think communication and different tools are critical. Also, we are a team primarily established during the pandemic phase. So most of the recruitment, hiring, onboarding has been virtual. It's been very successful. I think because we prioritize rich communication, lean organization, informal communication approaches, multiple communication channels, as well as sharing responsibly filings and data so that everyone has all the information needed to conduct their activities. On the right side, you see a multitude of tools. I think every company uses different tools, but the objective, I think, is similar to have a good sharing of information and the close communication between team members, especially in this virtual environment that we have been living for the past year and a half. So to almost wrap up my presentation very quickly, I want to talk about what have been the key enablers and the achievements to date. So I think enabler number one has been the organizational design and the new team with deep expertise and capability in advanced therapies that allowed us to become fully operationally quite fast and also set up a program management and milestones for the coming months and years. An organization and external collaboration model that is aligned around common goals and plans that obviously allowed us already to accelerate across different work streams and show progress towards the development program and the commercialization strategy. And the third part is having a strong support from the center and core business, platform, and senior management. Having this agreed governance model across organizations definitely allows a fast decision-making, which is one of the key success factors when being part of this advanced therapy space. So with that, I want to summarize the key points during my talk today. So as part of our journey towards Santen, towards 2030, Santen is going through a very exciting transformation and growth phase to achieve our vision of becoming a social innovator and deliver happiness through vision. So this is our main focus of all our activities. Entering advanced therapies is a key pillar for Santen to reach its long-term vision, with human retinal progenitor cell therapy having the potential to address a significant unmet medical need, as well as be a key contributor from a business perspective in the future. In order to reach those goals, our company has built a dedicated organization with deep expertise and capabilities to develop this lead asset and therapy, as well as to establish a long-term sustainable platform in ophthalmic advanced therapies and aim at becoming a leader in advanced therapies in the future. I want to thank you all for taking the time with my presentation. It has been a pleasure to share with you some of the insights and learnings from our journey in advanced therapies and the journey of Santen towards 2030. I would like now to open for discussion or questions, comments from the audience.
Thank you so much, Jill. It was really wonderful. And I think it was not intentional, but you had your notes on, and actually that was really wonderful, because if people, really? It was like a symphony, you know, people were actually getting the video and the audio, and they could have read the notes as well, which was, I think for me, as I'm not that familiar with everything else that happened, you know, in pharma, it was really great to follow. So actually, thank you for that, because it was not intentional, but I think it helped to some.
Okay. Yeah, I think there was nothing there that I would not have.
Oh yeah, no, nothing disturbing. Don't worry. Yeah, so far there are no questions, but you know, please feel free, the audience, please feel free to unmute yourself if you've got any questions that you'd like to ask. If not, I will take the time to ask you any questions. You know, it pops into my mind, Gilles, if I can ask you. How did you know that you were on the right career path for yourself? Did you get any proof, you know, from your career background or anything like that? They kind of told you, okay, this is the win, this is why I'm doing it.
I think in terms of my career decisions, I always enjoyed the business and I also enjoy building organizations or teams, and I had a chance to do that even before I joined the pharmaceutical industry. So as a physician, I joined the industry through the more medical or clinical type of roles, which is, I think, typical. But ultimately, I always aimed at building up my profile and try to move more into a general management and the business side, which I'm very happy now to have a chance to lead this team and this new business setup for Santen. But I was also very happy with medical affairs. I think in our industry, depending on the department or the business area or the therapeutic area, there's so exciting different things that we can contribute. And I think we learn also a lot by taking different challenges throughout our career. And also
so I feel like every step kind of made you feel more sure about what you're doing. That kind of seems like, you know, it all connected.
Yeah, I'm very lucky, I think, in terms of the different experiences that I had a chance and roles I had a chance to have in the past decade. I think I truly enjoyed each of them. I learned a lot with each of the roles, and I think every time we deliver or do some role for a while, then we go to the next one, we take a lot of learnings. And of course, there's still a lot to learn for myself. And I think advanced therapy is a very exciting field for everyone, and I think all my team members share the same. It's for no matter how many years you have worked in the industry, there's not established pathways yet, so everyone is learning and adjusting and adapting. So it's a very dynamic and exciting field for people that have an entrepreneurial mindset, I would say.
You seem really passionate, so thank you for answering. And I think people are want to rescue me from the questions. There's Joe who is saying, oh, actually, he's got a question. Has the entire journey been managed by internal resources, or did you get management consulting support? Yes. So what would you say?
I think that we had a mixture of both. So we have some external support from the beginning, as well as then we tried to, as soon as we defined the organizational setup and the type of roles and profiles and the organizational design that we believe would make sense to take this from a project to a business unit and hopefully in the future to a sustainable business for the company. We then started looking to bring those profiles that have that expertise that we wanted to bring to the team. We also not only brought everyone from outside, of course, myself, I'm a Santen member for many years, but we also try to bring and give opportunity to internal talents as well. And I think as we will keep expanding the organization, will have more chance also to give a chance to members of the Santen team, so that we create a group that also captures the values and the approach of Santen, while keeping also the expertise and the approach that is necessary to succeed in the advanced therapy space.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for answering. Thank you, Joe, for a great question. We've got another one from Michal. He's one of our other speakers as well. Very interesting presentation, Jill. Thank you. How difficult / challenging has been for you to find relevant experts in the ophthalmology field in your company worldwide? For example, in medical, commercial, manufacturing, etc.
Yeah, I think we have been, I've been very lucky with the team members, and several of them are here today. So I'm very happy with the team we have. I think we have a very strong team with a lot of expertise, a lot of motivation. But I think in general, it's quite challenging for every company entering this space, because there are a lot of different companies at the same time looking for talent and to build up their organization. So I think at the end comes to maybe to the what type of project and company size that the different talents and people in the industry want to look for. In our case, is a bit of a startup inside of an established company. So every company has maybe a different profile, and different people look for different type of experience. Also, I think with our asset is also a very exciting one in terms of the potential it has to transform the lives of patients suffering from a quite serious disease. So that's also sometimes one of the key drivers that bring people to want to join our team.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, Michal, for a lovely comment and great question. I'm not sure, I think I saw someone who wanted to unmute themselves. Maybe, if you feel like you would like to start a discussion or anything like that, feel free to do so. I'm not sure if it was Alice or someone, I might have missed that. But I'm gonna give you a chance without talking. Anyone? Not sure. I think I saw a hand, or someone wanting to unmute themselves. Well, with so many information that you've shared with us today, what would you like people to take from your presentation as the most valuable thing? If you can sum it up, what do you think, Jill? What would be like the biggest advice?
I think, of course, from a company perspective, I think it's a very exciting journey that we are now entering towards 2030. So I think that kind of dynamic transformation mindset, I think it's something very relevant. And I think everyone in their roles in companies, I think, should bring up ideas and help that kind of transformation, and entering also in new innovative spaces. I think for our company, moving from the core business, now entering into a highly innovative space is very exciting. I think that also comes with many challenges and opportunities. And I think one message I had there, I think, of course, having the right talents and expertise behind to support this type of business, as well as having enough time to building up the plans and then operationalizing those, I think is quite important. I've been participating in different conferences in this field, and I think many times what other leaders share is the main challenge, that sometimes they didn't have enough time to prepare in order then to have those discussions, whether it's on the development stage or on the commercialization access stage. So I think that kind of having enough time to do things the right way, I think it's an important learning. And in our case, we have still a few years before bringing this asset to the market. And I think that's one advantage we have, and I think was a very good decision. And I think maybe for other companies could be relevant, or other experts here on the call.
Thank you for answering. Hopefully they kind of brought up some interesting points for others. We've got a comment from Alice. Thank you. Very interesting. Thanks. I noticed a variety of communication platforms for the teams. Did you have any issues with getting people to buy into these?
I think the tools that we mentioned there, everyone in the team was already using, or was familiar with them. I think there's still room to find the other tools potentially to take the communication and the information exchange to the next level. I think during the pandemic, everyone, even in every company, I think there's more informal type of discussion, whether it's MS Teams and other kind of things that broke sometimes hierarchy type of barriers that existed. I think that has been maybe a healthy development coming out of this virtual world that I think also accelerates this kind of communication. And for us, as I mentioned with our team, many of the members, I didn't have a chance to meet them yet face to face. And I think we feel we kind of know each other, and there's been a very good integration of every new member. And that's something that I'm very happy with that, because I think one of the biggest challenges when we started this journey to build a new team during the pandemic is like, how can we be sure we are bringing the right talents and the right people to the company without having a chance to meet face to face? I think the pandemic showed us it's possible, and can be also a successful way to hire and integrate new members.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I actually have to agree, because well, I got my job through through a Zoom meeting or through a Zoom interview, and everything is happening virtually. I think it really showed us that it really is possible. So we can maybe take it as an advantage for into the future, and we don't always have to push for the physical, even though the physical contact is not something to be missed out on. Yeah, thank you, Alice, for the question. I think people are really struggling with, how to make it work and how to make the business work, especially, when I hear all the experts saying, about the clinical developments and how to make it work, because everyone really is working distantly, and it's quite a challenge. Are there any challenges that you're facing right now? Because you have mentioned some, but is there anything else that you'd like to share? I'm pretty sure everyone has that kind of a question in mind. How are you dealing with those?
Yeah, I think that because we are not yet, we are in the planning phase, so a lot of things are possible to do quite efficiently on a remote environment. We are also anticipating, depending on, hopefully there's a positive evolution and things will go back to a more hybrid or pre-pandemic operating model, which will reduce some of the challenges. But we know in the industry there has been some companies, not in our case, but we know examples of challenges around manufacturing delays, sometimes clinical trial delays on patient recruitment. Those are maybe some of the big challenges when a few months ago or a year ago, when the pandemic waves were quite strong. I think many programs suffered more severely than maybe in our case, which I think, as is a build-up phase, we are still in that planning, so it's maybe less impact to us. But I've been following closely the other developments in other companies and other programs, because there are some learnings and some things we need to look into and think in advance to avoid having the same challenges.
Thank you. And what did you think was the biggest lesson learned when it comes to overcoming all these challenges and working during the pandemic?
I think keeping a positive mindset and also working in an agile way. I think those allow us to get through the pandemic, maybe not only in a professional but also in a private life and so on. I think keeping the positive mindset and also the focus on what we want to achieve and try to do it together so that we don't become too isolated. I think that's quite critical for everyone during these difficult times that we had.
Yeah, so very true. And it seems like agility has been like the number one hot topic of the pharma industry. So for the past years, I've been reading some statistics and stuff like that. So yeah, if no one, I feel like if no one else has any questions, we're also at the end of the webinar, at the end of today's session, and Gilles is really kind. I'm pretty sure if you've got any questions that will pop into your mind later on, please feel free to contact him or myself, and I will get you in touch with him. I'm sure he won't mind, and his assistant is really, really kind. She was able to get us all together here today. So thank you, Nadia, to you as well. We are all part of the PPM Workout platform, so feel free to reach out to all the professionals there. Don't be shy, speak up. Write posts, ask questions publicly. It's a tool for you. It's a tool for all the professionals to be able to be there, inspire one another, learn from one another. So use that. It's your advantage. And yeah, I would like to say a big thank you to Gilles for making it happen, to Nadia, his assistant, who kindly put us together like this. And I really wish you all the best. I'm not sure if you'd like to share any last words before we finish up the Friday the 13th.
Again, I want to thank you and the Y Summit for the opportunity today, and everyone who also listened to the presentation and brought questions at the end. Again, as you mentioned, I'm very happy if anyone has further questions or want to connect, please reach to me on LinkedIn or any other channel. And also, if you want to learn more about Santen and our vision and our goals, please visit our website. And looking forward to future opportunities and collaboration.
Yeah, thank you again. And as I said, this whole session, as all the others, is still being recorded, and we will post it online or to our YouTube channel. So you can rewatch it, you can share it with people. And I'm sure that Jill is actually will be able to share with me the presentation, and we'll be able to post it online publicly later on as we go on. So yeah, that's all for me. I'm not going to keep you all any longer. And without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today. It was very lovely. I myself learned a lot, so I might become a PPM professional soon, hopefully with all the speakers being kind to teach me and to present to all the others. But it was really wonderful, and thank you again so much. Have a lovely rest of your day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you. We've got 2 more weeks of PPM Summer Talk still coming at us, so please join us. Oh, there's actually a comment from Vinicius Monteiro. Very good and interesting presentation. Thanks and congrats, Jill.
Thank you.
So this is really lovely. We got a gorgeous audience, and they're building up to be a great community, and that this is exactly what we want, to bring people closer together, all the professionals closer together. So thank you again so much, and have a lovely day, everyone. I'm sending greetings to Japan and to everyone else in the world from Slovakia, the headquarters of Y Summits, and it was a pleasure for today. So thank you again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.